everybody, Dawny Ride back with Miss Zola. Say hi, Zo. Can you wave? She's waving kind of low. Pull it up. Woo! So we're back here to do our Texas update. As you know from our previous videos, and if you follow me on Instagram, we have been in Texas for the last week. So, first, the airport. This was Zola's first flight. And leave it to Queen Z. Where's the balls? Go get the balls. Leave it to Queen Z. She was hollering and screaming before we even took off. We didn't even get to the runway before she started screaming. If you're in the New York area, then you know that Friday the 8th, there was a snowstorm. So we woke up to snow. So our flight wasn't delayed. However, we did have to stop before we hit the runway to get de-iced. So the plane had to be de-iced. There was a wait for that. So we basically took off maybe, I'm going to say about 45 minutes late. So this child was screaming before we even hit the runway. And I was so embarrassed. Luckily, the lady that sat next to us was an older woman, and she was just like, you know, I don't have kids, so anytime I'm around kids, it's a charm, so don't even worry about it. And she was just so nice, and Zola was just all over the place, and she was playing with the lady and trying to pull the lady's buttons off the coat, so I kept, you know, trying to bring her back, but the woman was really nice about it. And I gave her baby Benadryl just to, you know, get her drowsy, and she only slept for 30 minutes, so it didn't even work. So Zola was up touching and grabbing and eating cookies and then like sticking them on the window the whole flight. So I was just like, I was so like on edge. Texas though, it was so much fun. And ooh, as you know, Zola's not walking, but in Texas, she learned to stand on her own. Stand up, mommy. Let me show you. Want to show them how you stand up? Why? She learned to stand. So she was just standing and dancing and clapping and doing all of that. So you know, let me find out we had to leave the state in order to get her to make some progress. But it was so much fun. The weather was gorgeous. It must have been 78, pure sun, not a cloud in the sky. It was just so nice. The family was so hospitable. They took us all around. I went to Houston. We took a road trip to Dallas. That was nice. We went to Galveston on the Pleasure Pier. What else did we do? We just sat out in the lawn half of the time and played with the grass, and we watched the planes, and we played with bugs, and we played in puddles. It was such a nice time, just so kicked back and relaxed. We had Texas barbecue. And one thing I will say is I never noticed how much of a food snob I was with Zola until I got to Texas. My aunt is like feeding Zola glazed donuts, and the second we got from the airport and landed in Texas, we went to McDonald's to because she was starving, so we had to stop at McDonald's, and in my head I was just like, no, but the girl had to eat and they didn't have food made yet, so the girl had McDonald's. She had what did she have? Waffle House, ice cream. She had juice. She's a water drinker. Zola does not do juice, but she was drinking juice there. But at one point, Zola was just like, you know, she kept throwing the juice out of her sippy cup and asking it for water. So I guess she was kind of like, all right, Ma, enough with the sugar. But it was a good time. The flight back, though. So we got this really nasty guy. I don't even know. He sits down, he like pushes my coat and puts a little armrest down, clearly stating, this is my space, this is your space, stay on your side. Didn't say anything. So, you know, kids are kids. So every now and then Zola's arm would hit him or her leg, and he would be like, so I'm just, oh my God. So that whole ride, it was just my anxiety was just like, I'm going to lose it. If he says anything, I'm going to freak out. So he was all crushed in his seat, all on the side, like not trying to be near Zola. And there was a pilot sitting behind us. So he was making peekaboo faces with Zola. So Zola's trying to like look in the crack of the seat, but she was getting kind of close to the guy. And this guy looked like he was going to lose it on Zola. which means I was going to lose it on him, and we would have to emergency land in frigging Virginia. It was going to get nasty, but luckily he didn't do anything, so we were good, and we made it back. She didn't cry as much on the way back. She slept for most of the time, so that was good. And it sounds crazy to say this, but I've never been more thankful for turbulence on the plane, because it rocked her right to sleep, and when she started waking up, the turbulence rocked her right back to sleep. So I have never been more thankful to have the turbulence that we had on that plane, and there was a lot, and I was just like, yes, shakes. Oh, and the stroller was I'm so happy I bought that stroller. It was so useful at the airport. It was so simple. I was able to do everything with one hand. It was just so simple. Also, something I didn't realize was how easy the check-in and the security is at the airport when you have a child. There were designated lines for people with babies and strollers, and we literally went from checking in and getting our ticket to straight through security. It took like less than 10 minutes, and I did not realize that. So if I can ever build up enough guts to travel with Zola again, because that was a lot taken from me, you know, like my anxiety was going crazy, I definitely will be looking forward to the whole check-in process, because it was fabulous, and we were in and out. So in Texas, we went to model homes. So like for one day, we just went to like different model homes, and we looked in them and walked around, and they were so frigging nice. The houses that we saw about 3 or 4. The most expensive house that we saw was $300,000, and this $300,000 house had ceiling to floor windows. And I'm just like, wait a minute, you couldn't get this in New York. You could not get any of this in New York. Granted, though, the houses were so close that it was kind of just like, you know, I could stand in between and like touch like this. But for $300,000 and ceiling to floor windows, not bad. So that was our trip to Texas, and I'm very happy we went, and I loved it, and I would love to go back. But that's basically it. We're back to Brooklyn, back to snowstorms, and it's supposed to be spring next week. Go figure. So, bye everybody. Zola, you want to stand up before we go? No. All right, she doesn't want to stand up. Bye.